Hello, keen employees out there throughout the territory. Just wanted to take a minute to maybe run through some of the new products that we have coming out for this fall 20 season, since with the current state of the world, not going to be able to get out and do a lot of clinics this year. And there's some new fun technology coming out for the upcoming winter months. We'll also hit on some stuff in hike and things like that. This video is going to be mainly focused on the new Revel series. So we are now moving to the Revel 4. Many of you are familiar with Revel. It's been around for a long time under many different iterations. Well, the new one does have quite a few changes on it, or I guess I wouldn't say changes, but improvements to it. So let's just hit on it real quick. We don't need these to be super long videos, just some good hit points on it. So coming in for this next season, we used to have the line divided up between Revel and Summit County on the guys. Well, Summit County goes away. For the men's lineup, you're going to have the Revel High Polar, and you're going to have just the regular Revel boot. As you notice, two different heights. For purposes of this training session, I'm only going to show a color of each, but there are multiple colors. So we'll hit on the Revel High first. So we're at 400 grams of insulation on here, fully waterproof. New technology called polar traction or polar grip. Very similar to the things out there like the Arctic grip and things you see from other manufacturers out there. So we're playing in that field now. And then the Revel, the other Revel model is at 200 grams of insulation. One thing that's, so all the other same features on there, keen dry, so it's going to be fully waterproof. And waterproofness always runs up to that gusset that you can see here, and also on the inside you'll see where it says keen dry. That's just a good visual to show you where the waterproof starts, ends, all that stuff. Another thing that's in there is all of our outdoor inspired insulated pieces are going to come with our special thermal footbed, and inside the footbed there is wool facing on the feet. Gives you a little bit of added extra warmth. You can kind of see it if you take one of the footbeds and you pull it out. You can't really, I guess I can maybe show it here. You see a little bit of a mylar-ish reflective material that runs through there. Well, that is actually sandwiched in between the bottom of the footbed and that wool top of the footbed. That reflective material acts as a heat shield to keep heat on your foot that your foot is generating, and also keep the cold and reflect it back down to the ground. So it adds a little bit of extra warmth. I'm going to do a share screen, and I'm going to show you just our cutaway of some of the technology that is inside the Revel to, talk about some of the technology we've already talked about, but also, talk about some other things. So let's see here, share the screen, should pop up. So this is a cutaway of the women's specific model. We'll look at the women's stuff here when we're done. But as you can see, the top part, weatherproof or waterproof leather and performance upper mesh. So the mesh will wrap around that ankle area. I'll show the women's here. We'll wrap up around that ankle area for, if you're doing any snowshoeing or anything on a side tilt of a hill. Still gives you some flexibility. The other side, we talked about it a little bit, is the footbed, the thermal heat shield insole, which is right here. The kind of third level outside of the insulation and that footbed that gives you a little bit extra warmth is a thing we're calling the heat trapolator. The heat trapolator is another layer of 2 millimeter layer of felt that is actually sewn in, as you can see here, if you can see my mouse moving around. That's sewn in to the shoe between the insole and the what starts to be the bottom construction of the shoe. So it adds an extra layer of warmth, because where most of your heat is dragged out of your foot is not out of the top of the boot. It's mainly because you're standing on cold ground. And then on the bottom, you'll see here, this stuff's standard stuff that's in every shoe. Compression molded EVA midsole to give you a little bit of cushioning and comfort, and your stability shank that's put in there that gives you a little bit of support and stability through the middle of the midsection of the foot. The big thing the big addition this year is the polar traction that's on the outside. So the idea behind that is the same kind of stuff with the Arctic grip, as it gives you that little bit of extra grip on slippery situations. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen and go back to full screen. So a couple other things. If you need a cheat sheet when you're sitting on the floor and you've got a pair of boots out there and you can't remember what's 200 and what's 400 grams of insulation, we're always going to put on any of our insulated stuff. Let me see if I can open this up. This is the women's color here, one of the women's colors. As you will see on the inside, a little temperature, see if I can pull it down, a little temperature gauge that tells you what, in a test environment, what we say this boot is good down to temperatures, you know, at 200 grams of insulation, we'll say it's down to negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me take a look inside the 400 gram version here. Inside the 400, we say negative 40. We also have some 100 gram insulated boots, which we'll have on another little training session, but that is the new Revel series. So to kind of recap, you've got your regular Revel, Revel Mid Polar. That is your shorter height, 200 grams of insulation. You've got your taller version, which is 400 grams of insulation. And then just for viewing pleasures, is we also do offer it in women's. So there is the new Revel series. So still a lot of the same features that you're familiar with, still that, you know, kind of overemphasized, overprotected toe. And we also do have which was on the older Revel, as well as the shellback design, which is a great piece for kicking off your boots. You can, you know, unlace it and wrench down with the other toe of your boot on that and kick it off, and you're not going to have any problems with the back of the boot. So just some durability. Other little things is all of them are going to have your little gator loop on the front, so they can be worn with gaiters. That's the nice thing about the shellback, is shellback actually grips onto your gaiters pretty well. So great trail options, great pure outdoor options, 200 gram, 400 gram. Hopefully that's helpful. You can always reach me through your buyer or your owner if you do have any further questions. I'm always here to help. All right. Thank you.